How are you guys doing? This is Ryan. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about whether Nikola Motor Company and Tesla can both succeed. I've been getting a lot of comments lately saying, Ryan, you've been really hard on Nikola Motor Company. Why can't they just both get along? Tesla used to be a company that people did not think would be successful either. You should know. And in this video, I went back and did more research and organized my thoughts to say why I think it's very unlikely that both of them can succeed. And it is extremely likely that Tesla is the one that succeeds. And it is very likely that Nikola Motor Company will get very small market share in the auto industry and possibly even become obsolete. So with that said, let's jump into the video. So every company to be successful needs a strong economic moat. And a moat is a barrier that protects you from competition. So superior technology, extremely strong brand. And for Nikola Motor Company, when I first took a deep look in the company, I thought their moat could become their hydrogen fuel cell technology and the whole route they're building all over the United States. They have aspirations to build 700 hydrogen fueling stations around the country. Hydrogen is the most abundant resource in the known universe. There's water everywhere, and we all know water, H2O. So by extracting the hydrogen, you can make clean, powerful energy. And while this sounds amazing, it has a real fundamental issue. I'm kind of stealing this from Elon Musk, but you have to look at things in their first principles. Hydrogen takes energy to extract it. And that's really where the fundamental issue is and why battery technology is likely to become far more superior even though its current deficits, which we'll talk about and why they're likely to improve. To remove hydrogens from water, you need to do something like electrolysis. Where are you getting that energy to do electrolysis from? You can get energy from solar, wind, natural gas, which doesn't make any sense, and things like that. In contrast, batteries just receive energy from things like solar, wind, natural gas. This is the fundamental reason why electric vehicles make sense. It's taking one less step than hydrogen, and therefore will always likely become cheaper. Just think of the old saying, the quickest way to get from point A to point B is a straight line. Battery technology is more efficient at that, when hydrogen takes a couple of different stops. But to be fair, the Nikola One has some pretty impressive specs. Using hydrogen fuel cell technology allows the vehicle to go up to 750 miles at a time, which the Tesla Semi specs only have around 500 miles, but we're actually learning now that with payloads, the Tesla Semi is going 600 miles. Another advantage that the Nikola Motor One has is recharging time. You can fill it up with hydrogen in about 15 minutes. Tesla Semi is saying with their mega chargers, you could power it up in 30 minutes. While Nikola has better specs than Tesla, let's dig a little bit deeper and see which vehicle actually makes more sense. So by far in the trucking industry, semi-trucks travel 250 miles in a day. Definitely some do go further, but the vast majority of the market is relying on that 250 mile number. And then when we get into recharging time, let's take a deeper look at that. If a Tesla Semi pulls up and actually does a delivery, if they were to plug in their charger and unload their entire Tesla Semi during that time, they would have a full load. And the beautiful thing about battery technology is that there's already electricity everywhere. So you can build mega chargers. Don't get me wrong, this is gonna be an intense process, but recharging while unloading just makes a lot of sense. Versus a Nikola truck, you will drop off and then you'll have to go and travel to the closest hydrogen fuel station. But now let's really jump into the economics. The 500-mile Tesla Semi is selling for $180,000. While Nikola Motor Company is deciding not to actually sell their trucks, they want to put it into an entire lease package ranging anywhere from $5,000 to $7,000. To me, things get a little shaky here. I've heard multiple interviews with Trevor Milton, and he keeps on saying that owning the fuel source is going to allow them to make all that money that diesel companies usually would make in the heavy trucking business. And his numbers keep on ranging. He says every time a Semi is sold, the diesel company makes $1 million. Now he's come down to $750,000. And some estimates have this under $500,000. I don't know exactly, but I don't think the CEO of the company knows either, so be careful. They keep on saying that the truck should cost around 95 cents per mile, but they're strongly saying to be careful about that. To be honest, they don't really know. And they're gonna be executing leases that they don't quite understand. But I did some rough math here to try to understand which truck was cheaper. Is it gonna be Nikola or is it gonna be Tesla? So Nikola says they're gonna lease their truck for $5,000 to $7,000. So let's use $6,000. And from what I can find on their website, it's gonna be about an 84-month lease. So 6,000 times 84. So Nikola Motor Company gets $500,000. Again, Trevor Milton kept on saying he's gonna get all that money that the diesel company was getting, but he's gonna be getting $500,000 and covering everything on that lease. And that's assuming he's not using a third party to do his leases for him, and he's actually getting all that money back, which he's likely using a company to do his financing and he may have to pay 3% of this $500,000. Meanwhile, if you finance a Tesla Semi at 84 months at a 5% interest rate, you're gonna be paying $2,500 a month. Again, let's compare this roughly to Nikola's $6,000. But Nikola's throwing in their hydrogen. There's definitely a cost there. And from what I can find, what it will cost to recharge a Tesla Semi is roughly $100. So let's say the truck's driving 5 days a week, an additional $2,500. And what we're learning with Tesla Battery Day coming out is that Tesla is actually gonna be likely warranting their battery for 1 million miles, which is absolutely incredible and game-changing to the industry. So we see that Tesla is slightly cheaper here, and I'm leaving out things like tires and such, but it looks like the Tesla Semi is cheaper, and in the end you actually own it. And we're also learning it's very likely that Tesla battery technology will be able to make you money if you own the new Tesla battery coming out. And let me explain. Tesla feels comfortable with its new battery technology, and I'm not an engineer, but they're switching from what's called a wet node to a dry node. And guys, I'm studying this and trying to learn it the best I possibly can, but it's gonna be a lot more energy dense, and the battery's gonna be a lot more durable, and that's why you're gonna see increased warranties and game-changing things done to the industry. So Tesla feels so confident about their battery that they wanna create what's called Autobidder. And that's where you can plug in your Tesla and tell it to buy energy when energy is cheap, and then when energy is more expensive, sell it back to the grid and make that profit in between. Sell it cheaper than what the normal market is selling it for because you already bought it so low, make a profit there, and also save money to people who rely on that grid. This is gonna be game-changing and revolutionizing to just the entire energy sector as we know it, and Tesla Battery Day keeps on getting pushed back, but I can't wait to see the public's reaction to this. And it's actually why I think the stock is performing so well, because there's been so much leaked information about what's possibly happening on Tesla Battery Day. So you have to understand that battery technology is gonna continue to get better. Just think of a computer back in the 1960s. It used to take up the entire room to get enough power to work a computer. And my little cell phone has more computing power in it than that computer did. So things are gonna become much more energy dense and much more efficient. Don't get me wrong, hydrogen can improve, but looking at it from its first principles, it looks like battery technology will be superior. And also keep in mind that like Toyota has hydrogen fuel cars out there. They do exist, but there's probably a reason why hydrogen fuel cars are not beating Tesla cars already. Something to consider. So as Tesla can continue to improve its battery technology and get lighter and lighter, you're gonna see the range improve. And that's one of the biggest knockdowns. And that's what Trevor Milton says, is that battery technology is not efficient outside of 300 miles. Challenge accepted. And there's one more huge game changer I have not mentioned yet, and that is Tesla has superior Autopilot technology, which in the trucking industry is an absolute game changer for safety and also potential labor costs. When compared to Nikola Motor, they don't really have anything for it. I believe their vehicle is set up to add other people's systems, but Tesla has so much data on its Neuralink, where every Tesla vehicle driving on the road is learning how to become an improved driver and recognize things. Like before, early Tesla Autopilot didn't recognize traffic lights, now they do. Every software update, the car gets smarter. It gets more and more used to recognizing things that us humans do, and it also follows how us humans react. And I think we all know that this is how the future is going, and this is gonna massively disrupt the transportation industry. So to recap, these are the reasons why I don't think it's likely that both Nikola Motor Company and Tesla succeeds, and I think it's gonna be extremely challenging for Nikola Motor Company to overcome a lot of these barriers. But let me know what you think down in the comment section where I am wrong. I love to learn new things. The last video I made about Nikola Motor Company had triggered a lot of people, and I think there's a lot of passion and excitement around the stock, but I think hopefully this video is helpful to understand what, if you're investing in Nikola Motor Company, what you're really getting. Are you getting the next Tesla, or are you just getting a company that has a name similar to Tesla, Nikola? Congratulations, Nikola, on your IPO. Prove me wrong. I love that the world is moving into a more energy efficient, greener place, and I'm really excited to raise my children in a world like that, and I think you have great aspirations and a great mission. We're just living in a world where people don't realize how quickly Tesla is running away from the competition. And while there will likely be other companies in the automotive space, Tesla is going to take huge amounts of market cap because they have about a decade more experience than anyone. Still to this day, no other car company has been able to make an electric vehicle that has comparable specs to the 2012 Model S. If you've enjoyed the video, please make sure you've given it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that notification bell. This way YouTube reminds you every time I upload a video. And I make lots of Tesla content on this channel. I actually own the Model 3, so stay tuned for more of that. And I will be covering Nikola Motor Company, and I will point out where they prove me wrong. They do have a large order with Anheuser-Busch to fill, so we're gonna be able to see them operate in the market. They still need to build up the entire infrastructure for the hydrogen fuel cells. They need to get the trucks built and on the road, so we'll see how quickly they can do it. It's likely that we'll see the Tesla Semi on the road, maybe even by the end of this year, but definitely by next year. So Tesla will have a first mover advantage and have their chance to prove to the market that electric vehicles do work for the commercial trucking business. I feel like the world is ready for change and diesel fuel might soon become a thing of the past, but we'll have to wait and see. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one.